Please join me in the pledge of the flag. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Here.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Here.
Director Schoenberg.
Here.
I'm Director Garcia. Good evening. Number 2, discussion and adjust the agenda if necessary. Any input on that tonight? Hearing nothing, we'll go ahead to the next, number 3. Any public comments tonight by any of the public? Okay, not hearing any, we'll continue. Number 4, report of officers. I have no report tonight. Vice President.
I have no report.
Secretary.
It's not here.
Treasurer.
Yeah, I transferred. I need to make a bunch of transfers, but so far I've only transferred the $114,171 that we had prepaid Johnson Drilling out of the capital improvement reserve, and I took that money out of the Fraser Park PUD Lake of the Woods planning from claim 9. That was money that had come in, and I transferred $114,171 back to the CIR account. So
Beautiful.
there's a lot of other transfers that need to happen, not that'll go into our operating reserve, our operating revenue, sorry. And so when you get that number for from our bookkeeper, it's a little lower than it will be because I haven't made those transfers yet.
Okay. Thank you. JPIA representative.
No, I have nothing.
Okay, thank you. Number 5, any board member initiatives tonight? Okay,
No.
hearing none. We'll move along. Number 6, manager's report. Will you be able to take care of that, Tiffany?
He didn't leave me a report this time.
Okay. A, administrative assistance report. Do you have anything, Tiffany?
No, it'll all be under the agenda items.
Okay. Thank you. Number 7, ad hoc committee reports. Anything from the project committee? Anything from the financial committee?
Yeah, the financial committee, well, project committee, the state meeting will be coming up, so we'll be doing that. Financial committee, Director Nyman and I met with our bookkeeper and looked over the financials on Tuesday, and the checks got released that we had been holding for the 2 retention on the 2 big projects, the test wells and the Johnson Drilling and the Wolf Tank. And that's about it. I think we're going to be there's still a little bit of cleanup to do in terms of where things go as far as reclassification of items, but most of those have been reclassified, and I think we're in pretty good shape.
Good work. Thank you. And deposit review committee. Have you been able to meet on that?
We were going to meet at the beginning of the year. Remember,
Okay,
we were
great.
going to address it again in January.
Okay, good. Thank you. Number 9, financial business. Number 8, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. Good evening, Deborah Angel.
Good evening.
Hey, Deborah.
welcome.
Hi.
And you have the floor.
Okay. Okay, so out of the Lake of the Woods planning account, we issued 6 checks totaling $28,518.99. Did you want detail on those checks?
Director Schoenberg?
Well, we've already gone over them, so it would be the other members of the board. Does anyone else on the board? One of the things that I asked Deborah, well, those should be on your check detail. So you should have been able to see that in your packet, I believe.
And they're under different, like it's for the Lake of the Woods project, but like some for D. Jasper and some for Young Wildrich, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all to our regular vendors, the lawyers, the AT&T, the bank card center, etc. So JPIA, insurance.
Right, but
Unless
but
there's
Deborah-
anything of notice that you would like to bring up when you reviewed the bills, Director Schoenberg.
So the one thing that we're missing that we badly need to deal with, I believe Dee's on here, and that should come up on a later agenda item, but we need to be able to get a price and cut a check for the generators. That wasn't done yet as the down payment. So that's a missing thing that needs to be done. And everything else on there, or the one thing I had asked Deborah to do, but we don't have it yet, would be to have a report for credit card reconciliations that the other board members who aren't on the financial ad hoc would be able to see. Because right now, it only says the 2 credit cards. It doesn't really break it down. So she's working on that. And I think hopefully for December, we'll have something like that you can look at as well. But Director Nyman and I went over everything in detail, and I don't think there were any real issues or anything.
Okay, that being said, I'll entertain a motion to pay the bill.
Unless Director Nyman remembers something that I don't.
No.
I had a couple questions I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Please, Director Gibson, go ahead.
On page 3 of the check detail, just for my own information, under Fraser Park Lumber, there's a list of things that we paid for. And
Yes.
we postage for 2 FedEx packages, and I'm just wondering, what did we have to mail out that cost so much money?
We have not asked that yet of our general manager, so that's something that we will look into. But we're going to ask in the future that he just detail what that's actually going to. So yeah, there were 2 mailings.
Can you make a note to have Johnny get us that information on that? There was one postage FedEx that was at Fraser Park for $64.91,
Yeah.
and then there was
$78.49.
$78.49.
Okay, I think one of them might be, we had to mail the handhelds back to RVS for them to be repaired. So it could be that, but that's just my guess.
So yeah, we asked in the future that we just get sort of a note on there so it says what it's for, kind of like when we have expenses for the trucks, it says, what truck, or for the vehicle, or
for tires, or for whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're cleaning up. The detail's getting better and better, but we definitely need detail on those too.
Oh, a few months ago, I wouldn't even have been smart enough to ask these questions. That's how wonderful I find this check detail.
Also,
Thank you.
Deborah,
Yes.
could you just make a note? I know I mentioned it, but we didn't really check it out. I thought we had a monthly bill from Edison, and
There's it came in after you left. So it will be part of the next batch for next week.
Okay. Okay, no problem. I just, because usually we pay it on the first meeting, and that I was curious of where that was at. All right, thank you.
We,
Payment
I
late.
Okay, so I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
Before you ask that, quick question for Deborah on the Edison. When is that due?
Well, it was not sitting in my inbox. I saw it in Johnny, so it hasn't come to me yet.
Okay.
And so I didn't rifle through any of that to look at it. I just figured that by Monday I would have it to process it.
So I just wanted to well, I'll make that in the motion, but I want to be able to pay that if it's overdue, since that's a pretty hefty bill usually. So I'll include that in the motion that we pay that.
I got it right here. Hold on. Let me see. It's amount due 6,230 and it's due November 22nd.
So before the next meeting, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just barely, yeah.
So
I
I'll,
thought we moved,
yeah.
we
So I'll-
moved the second meeting.
oh, we did move the second meeting. You're right. It's next week.
Next week.
Good Lord.
Perfect.
So do we have time? Let's see. Does that give us?
I think so. The meeting's on the 19th.
Okay.
Does it go locally, or does it go way somewhere else?
That means on the 18th. Yeah. Well, as long as if it's postmarked the 18th, it's probably okay.
It goes to Rosemead, I think.
It does.
Okay,
Yeah.
that should be okay.
Okay. And sorry, Director Gibson had some questions.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You're finishing up that thought, and that's good. Okay, so I have a question on page 4 at the top of the page for PC Pal. For Johnny to have remote access? Is that
Yeah.
what that's for?
Yes.
Why does he need remote access?
I can't remember exactly, but I think he needed to be able to look things up if he's not, if he's out elsewhere and we have a question. There was
Okay, so it's just helping him to be a better manager, right?
right, but there was a specific thing that came up, which is why we did that, and I can't remember what the specific thing is. But yeah, it allows him to access the computer.
Okay, okay. And now on page 5, I have a question about director fees. There was a meeting that was attended. It was a financial committee meeting that was Brahma took part in, and Lisa, and of course Deborah. And for Brahma, and it's the meeting that on the 12th. And it says that Brahma was there from 11 till 1, and he earned $50. It said Lisa was there from 11 till 1, and she earned 66, which would be 2 hours.
Yeah, 11 to 1 is incorrect. I was actually there longer than Brahma. I came in early.
Oh,
I
Well,
don't know.
11 to 1
Okay.
is 2 hours. It should be 66. I
that's right, yeah.
I must have put it in incorrectly on the sheet.
Uh-huh.
So
No, you didn't take the whole 2 hours.
it doesn't matter. I'm fine.
Well, I think
There
you
was
did.
another meeting that he got there at 10:30 when you got there at 10, but that was a different meeting.
Right, but I think this one, Brahma, you actually did on purpose. Because
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think
I
so.
would like to confirm that because I did I entered the information as it was on the sheet, and I believe that Brahma, you said you needed to short that amount.
Yeah, that's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine, but
I'm-
good question, Director.
Well, good. I have one more and then I'll be done with this
Okay.
financial part, okay? On page 6, at the bottom of the page, a payout specifically for Pearson. Is that the employee handbook getting reviewed or?
No, so that is actually our general manager who had questions about his contract, etc., and some ways of compensation that I discussed last meeting in our during our contracts.
Section.
Right, negotiations. So yeah, it's those were legal fees. That 725 was actually completely for the general manager's questions about his own contract.
And we paid out last month because he had another phone call with Pearson about it, right? But it seemed to me
There were
like
two,
last month,
You want
Yeah,
me to look at the invoice? I can pull it
I-
out.
we looked at it, Director Nyman, but you can look at it again. But yeah, it was specifically for two separate questions that had to do with, one had to do with compensate, what's it called, comp time, which he, and exempt, it comes up late, it comes up on this agenda later on, so we can
yeah,
talk
we
about.
have an agenda. Okay, it
Yeah.
seemed like a lot, 726,
It's
because
not,
last month,
it was literally only like an hour and a half of back and forth emails and a phone call because he charges 300 something an hour.
Okay, I got the invoice right here. It's what Lisa talked about. He charged on 10/14 1 hour for $330, and then 1.2 hours on 10/20. It was receipt and review documents from client, interact process letter to employee. It's $396. So it was a total of 726. So the actual, that particular item on there is a little bit more than just the, what it was.
discussing, John, the options.
Right. It was also another issue on the 20th. So it's a double invoice, basically.
And so it sounds like, according to these dates, this came after our last regular meeting at the beginning of October, in which we paid some money to Pearson for, or to Young Woolrich for questions about the general manager's contract. We paid for the first conversation, and it just didn't seem like it was that high. So that's why I wanted to ask about it.
Okay.
And I was hoping it was going to be the employee handbook.
No,
Oh.
it's that's lawyers are expensive.
We need to go
Yeah.
over the employee handbook, and that's going to be, it should be on the agenda every month for the next, I don't know how long until we get through it. We need to go through it. That is actually, that contract is actually with our HR firm, and then Jerry would just take a final look at it to make sure everything's okay.
Okay,
So
well,
we
let's
go
get
through
back
it
to
first,
number
and then
8,
we give it-
finish up business
Okay.
on number 8.
Okay,
Okay.
I will make a
so-
motion that we pay the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Director Nyman has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried.
Did
Number
you have-
9.
Wait, did you have, Deborah, did you have something else you wanted to say?
No, I didn't know if you wanted me to give you a grand total on the revenue operating account.
Yes, if
I mean,
you,
I know you have the detail, but
Right.
I normally give you the total amount.
right, yes, that would be great.
Okay, so we issued 26 checks for $32,874.85. And I checked this afternoon, all of the accounts are solvent.
Okay.
And the last thing that I would like to say in relationship to this is that I am now current on all the bank reconciliations. And I have 2 more credit card statements to get reconciled to be current. So I'm ambitiously hoping that by our first December meeting, you will be getting a regular packet. And as Lisa mentioned, we will also be including with your check detail, we'll be including a credit card detail so that you will know what's being included on the credit card charges.
Right. So we plan on having financials in December, basically.
That is my ambitious hope. I unless there is something that I have not seen or touched yet, but I believe we'll be ready then.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 9, discussion, review, approval of the bookkeeper contract. Who would like to speak on that?
I'd like to say something.
Please, Director Schoenberg.
So we had discussed with Deborah when she came on as our bookkeeper that we would kind of take a look at everything in November and see how things were going. And I'm very happy. We've both Director Nyman and I have worked with her on a number of different items, and also, we're going pretty smoothly as far as paying our bills. They get done ahead of time. We're able to see everything. We're able to look at the credit card statements. So, and I believe Deborah has expressed, and she can express that in person, but that she's happy as well. Right now, we're staying at the maximum amount of her contract because there's just a lot of work to do, and I think that that's going to go on for a while. I don't know if we're going to need to re-examine things again at some point, but right now we definitely have plenty of work to do to have her take up all of her contract amount.
Would you like to make that into a motion?
Well, I'd like to have her maybe say something, and then I can make a motion.
Perfect. I guess that is directed towards you, Deborah Angel. Are you still on with us?
I am. I'm still here. I am very happy with the position and the work environment, the volume of work. I still, I'm not sure that it is going to be a maximum for the duration of my stay, but I'm really focused on getting everything caught up, and getting the work done, and possibly being able to help with projects that have been on hold or been on the back burner. So I'm very happy with the work, and I've basically come into the space and made it my own. So I would very much like to stay.
So with that, I would like to move that we, per our discussion back when we hired Deborah, that we go ahead and keep the contract as is and move forward.
with no limitations?
Well, as the contract states.
I meant length of time. Is it a 1 year? Is it ongoing? What?
Do you want to re-examine things, Deborah, in like 6 months or something, just in case the work drops down, or?
Well, I don't know that a particular time period. I mean, I think that if the time starts to drop on a regular basis, it's something that we could address in a meeting, because I certainly wouldn't just up and leave, you know, if it wasn't enough hours. And so, I mean, I don't know what's normal and customary in this particular situation, because in the past with any other client with whom I've worked, I usually give them notice if I need to move away from the account. And so it's I think that, you know, if it's ongoing with, I think in the contract, it does state a number of days or weeks of notice if we want termination. So,
Well, right now, what on the current thing says until November 11th. So we're the term of this agreement can be extended upon written notice by the district within 30-day period of termination date if mutual exists between the district and contract. So we need Tiffany to
Extend it.
extend it with a written notice.
Isn't a motion a written notice?
I guess. I'm not sure. I'm just reading what it says here.
Well, that's fine. If so, I'd like to move that we extend it until November 2022, at which time we can see how things are going, if any adjustments need to be made.
Okay, do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
Director Gibson has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried.
And I would just like to say that I'm been very happy working with Deborah, and she's really on it. And I love the check detail, really has been very clear and succinct, and we've been able to it gives us so much more information, so it's very helpful. So,
And last but not least, Deborah Angel, with that offer being or motion being made and carried, how do you see it?
I'm pleased with the continuance, and I look forward to December of 2022.
Well, God bless you.
We're
Thank
very
you.
happy. I just put that in in case we need to re-examine anything.
No, I understand, and I just want to say that I want to be a part of the team, and it is my goal and my objective to focus on the work. So
so Tiffany, I think we should look into whether we have to actually just give her a written notice on our letterhead.
Right. The reason I made that date is so that we can do the exact same notice that we did for the original contract and just change the date.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Deborah.
Thank you. You all,
Thank
may I be excused now?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a good evening, and I'll see you again next week.
Yep.
Till, bye.
Thank you.
Okay, number
Bye.
10. Excuse me. Number 10, discussion vote on the book asset detail.
So, Johnny would probably have more information, but we haven't heard back yet from David from RCAC. So I think we're really just waiting on the spreadsheet that they need to formulate. So once we have the spreadsheet, then I think we can move forward on the Prop 218. The actual book asset detail itself, the part of it that's the Fraser FPPUD portion that needs to be worked on with the auditors, that hasn't moved forward at all. But as far as the Prop 218 and that information in regard to our assets and RCAC, we're still waiting for that spreadsheet.
So we'll go ahead and carry that over. Unfinished business. Number 11, discussion vote on Fraser Park Lake of the Woods Consolidation Planning Project. A, discussion vote on a new budget request.
Want to note the time?
It is 6:32.
I believe we don't have that information yet. We were waiting for the final retention payment to Johnson Drilling to see if we needed to make more budget adjustments, but we just paid that. So I don't know, Dee, do you have anything?
Yeah, the final payment that we calculated is the correct one. I prepared a document for Johnson Drilling to sign that agrees with that. I don't anticipate any problem with that, but anyway, I wouldn't. Within a day or two, I should get an acknowledgement that everything is correct, which is the tabulation that we've all been working on. There's been no changes. So I'm confident that, the final payment is the final payment, and the 5% retention is all correct. However, I did contact Johnson Drilling, and I asked them for their acknowledgement, just so we can put a kind of a bow around the package and make sure that we've got all our I's dotted and our T's crossed. So that should come in, and maybe tomorrow, or maybe I don't know whether they work today or not, but I expect to get an acknowledgement from Leslie Friday or Monday.
And it looks like a lot dropped off the agenda, probably per our request, but I think that we're going to need to add, after you go through B, I think we need to add back in a few things, like I know we're waiting on the appraisals, but I know we talked about access to the property, the Saya property first, to be able to drill well 7. But I do think we might want to put a few things back on the agenda for the next meeting.
I agree, Lisa. Well, that can be that's something we really want to move on.
You just carried everything over to planning, so it'll be on the next one. It just dropped off the regular.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Okay, so how about B, discussion vote update on claims and payouts? Are there any claims or payouts?
Carlos?
Nothing new. Just we submitted claim 11 after Tiffany sent me the signed documents and the info I needed. I submitted it and mailed it out.
Beautiful.
And
And-
we'll be
and
doing
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
we'll be doing claim 12. You'll get the rough draft by next Thursday.
Okay.
Well, we
And-
would have. Don't we need it to be able to look at it before next Thursday? Because next Thursday is our meeting.
Yeah, but isn't it the state meeting?
No, it's both because of Thanksgiving.
Oh, then I guess
So
I could have it I guess instead of a rough draft, it'll be the final draft on, as long as nothing changes.
Yeah, we can look at it during the state meeting, and then if if there's any changes, hopefully you can make them in time for the.
Yeah, and we want to make sure on there, Carlos, that we have the two payments for Johnson Drilling, that one for 68,210, and there's also the retention payment of $9,599. So
Yeah, I haven't looked at what Tiffany sent me, but if it's in there, it'll be included. So
okay, well, we just need to make sure, Tiffany, that that gets in there because, you know, once again, we're paying for that out of our money and floating it until we get reimbursed.
And I actually directed our bookkeeper to pay that out of the operating revenue, so it did not come out of the capital improvement. We had enough to float it out of the operating revenue, but we're definitely going to want that to go back in as soon as possible.
Right, we had transferred it to the Lake of the Woods planning account though, correct? From the revenue operating.
Right. I didn't borrow off of the CIR fund
Okay,
as I did for the payment number one.
okay. Just trying to keep up on things.
Okay. Number 12. Discussion vote update on Fraser Park Public Utility District Meter Replacement Project and Emergency Well Supply Project. A, discussion vote update on going out to bid for well number 7.
If that's to me.
Yes, that's you.
Seriously, okay. Curtis was up there today for the third job walk. Bids are due the 23rd, which is about 2 weeks away now, and a little less than that. Bidders are kind of scarce. We think we'll have 1 or 2 bids, but timing could be an issue as well from the standpoint of getting pumps and motors and other things that are needed for that project. We may need to do, once we get the bids in, we'll be able to evaluate that more clearly. What we may need to do though is move the well, the pump and motor over to the new well once we get it drilled and we move ahead with the project. And then once the pump and motor get delivered, then we can change that out. But there are some issues with respect to availability of the pumping equipment and some of the hardware. So of course, we don't have a successful bidder yet. Those are just conversations that we've had with the bidders, and so we've got our fingers crossed and waiting for the 23rd.
Okay, so we have a little less than 2 weeks to wait. We'll carry that on the agenda. B, discussion vote on amended plans and specs.
Before we go on, I have a question because in the past, we were only doing item 11, the Fraser Park Lake of the Woods, in terms of reimbursement. But now we're going to also be seeking reimbursement for the state on this meter replacements, emergency well project. So I think when we do the state meeting next week, we need to make sure that we ask Lawrence about that. But I believe that we should place that as part of the, when we're keeping time for how long items are taking on the meeting. I think we need to probably place all of the state items together because now we have officially 3 state projects.
One of the things that maybe I'd like to, I don't know whether this is out of sequence or not, but it relates to well 7, and that is, and to maybe drilling drilling one of the new wells, the one on the SCA property. And when we get to that item, and I don't know that I see it on the agenda, we need to talk about that a little bit because if the concern is if well number 7 is delayed simply because of trying to get parts and pieces and parts and even get a driller on board. The SCA well might be one that we could bid and maybe put those 2 wells together and have the award to maybe a successful bidder who might be working, or the successful bidder on well number 7, and have him, once he completes well number 7, move over to the SCA well. But we'd have to have the property purchased and get our negotiations done with whoever owns that property now, whether it's SCA or somebody else. So we're a little concerned about timing and the condition of well number 5.
Yeah, the issue with that though, D, is that with the SIA property, we don't have funding to drill a new well. I mean, because we would be purchasing the property out of our own funds with district money, but we have not been approved for a new well. We don't have construction or funding for a new well for the SIA property.
I agree and understand that. I think though we need
So
to,
we'd have to look at how we could pay for it, or
right.
because that would be an issue.
I'm confused.
What?
Director Gibson? Go ahead.
Okay, if we buy the property, we don't have funding, but we have funding for a new well, right? Isn't it part
Okay,
of the
But what
consolidation?
okay, what D would say, no, the project that we have funding for is for well 7, which is the replacement well for replacement well number 5. We have that grant, but
Mhm.
we have to acquire the property for SAIA for an additional well, and I don't know what number we're gonna, I guess we're gonna be number 8 or whatever. Yeah, so that would be well 8, but we have not received, we haven't got, because we're still in planning stages of the Lake of the Woods project. We have not got any construction funding to approve for the construction of a well, so we don't have the
Right.
money
So
for that.
Lawrence talked to us a little bit about that, and we would not be able to be reimbursed at this point until we had, a funding agreement for the construction. So it probably would not be
At the same time,
reimbursable.
unless we could come up with the money for it. That's the thing.
Well, no, I mean, even if we come up with the money for it, I don't know if it would be reimbursable. We'd have to, that would be an interesting bit of finagling, because I don't know, basically what Lawrence said is that it's not eligible until we have the construction money. So
Right.
that you can only do planning on planning, you can't actually do construction. So I don't know if we would ever get reimbursed for that. So that would basically be coming out of pocket. Whereas if we waited until the construction phase, it would actually pay for that. So it would be coming out of pocket to purchase the property and coming out of pocket to do the well. And unless the state is able to do something. So again, I think that we need to address that again with him in regard to all of the issues that are happening in terms of drilling. That there's just not a lot of competition right now, and that there are back orders on parts and things. So, I mean, that may change something, but even if we were to get a bridge loan, I don't believe at this point it's reimbursable unless they came up with some way to do it at the state level.
If I could comment, just.
Please do, Dean.
Really what I'm saying is we need to get the cards lined up. The first step is to start, get our appraisals, start negotiations. I know that's going to take some time, but if we hesitate and we if we don't get our cards lined up and do some of these preliminary things, I'm afraid that we may be behind the 8 ball when we finally get to the point where we can develop some funding and drill the well. And so I'm just being a little bit precautious and maybe looking ahead a little bit to have us thinking about moving ahead with some of the basic things that we can do, like going ahead with the appraisals and then starting some of the negotiations, because I've got a feeling it may take more time than what we'd like.
Well, I don't think we have a problem with getting appraisals and going forward with negotiations to acquire the property. I think all the directors are pretty much in alignment that we want to go ahead and purchase the property and not wait. I think that, but the issue of actually putting a well in there is something else, of whether we could be able to fund that, and we wouldn't. That's something we'd have to discuss further, because if we come out of our pocket for it, we may not get reimbursed for it. So that's something that the district has to discuss more.
Yeah, I don't believe it's reimbursable because we would have to have a funding agreement in place. And in order to get that construction funding agreement, we've still got a great deal of work to do. Dee's got to finish like a whole bunch of stuff before we could even move on. In terms of the larger project, in terms of the scope of the entire Lake of the Woods, planning, all of the plans that need to be done. So I don't see us being able to dig both wells unless we take out a loan, and that loan's not reimbursable.
Just one more comment on that, and just from the experience that we're having right now, there is a lot of money available for this type of work. We are getting requests daily for putting proposals together for grant type work. And so I think maybe behind some of my concerns is the fact that really there's a tremendous amount of money out there. And it could be that if we get lined up so that we do have possession of the property, there may well be funding available to do, a new well there when we get to that point. There's a tremendous amount of grant money out there. And I'm just thinking of not missing an opportunity if there's a chance to get it.
We already gave you the go ahead on the appraisals, but actually you and our general manager asked us to wait on the appraisal until we negotiated well 7. So we're kind of in a bind if that's what we're doing, because you were saying we should wait, but now you're saying we should go forward, so we can't do both. We had already said we could go forward on the appraisals, but then Johnny was concerned about waiting to
Get access.
Get access, yeah, for well 7. So I don't know what to do. That's we had already approved the appraisals going forward. But
We're thinking if we go through with the acquiring the property, we're going to offend SAA in some way.
that was Johnny's concern was that we should make sure that we have access to be able to do well 7 before we put too many requests to them. But I think that I don't know if that's going to be possible. I think we may have to. I mean, he was just concerned that that they were going to get cold feet if too many things were hitting them at once. But it doesn't. I mean, we're able to move forward either way, but I think we just didn't want to have to go through some sort of
Legal action.
again. So
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
but I mean, it's really dependent on how long it takes us to negotiate that access, and then how long we're going to be waiting. So I don't know, Dee. It's really that was your call and our general manager's call.
Johnny and I guess, have a few, maybe talk a little bit more about it in the next week. And maybe be prepared.
Why don't we make sure that the access issue and the appraisal issue is on the agenda for next Thursday, Tiffany, and then we can discuss it more, so you can get with Johnny and have some more discussions on that, so we can be more informed next week and make some more decisions.
And I think we need to bring all this stuff up in the state meeting to ask Lawrence kind of to brainstorm if there's additional, in order to make the best of our funding. Maybe there is some additional way that we could fund that well outside of the Lake of the Wood planning.
Yeah, you might want to put that as a topic, Carlos, on the agenda for next Thursday for a state update meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so amended plans and specs for the meter replacement. D, where are we at with that?
We're working on it right now. We have about 75% of the field work done. We have a few things that we've got a few loose ends we have to tie up in the field, but we're actually working on the plans now. I'm not sure what I told you last time. I'm looking at my notes as to when we will have plans and specs out.
You had said a month or two.
Yeah, that's what I recall, and I think that's still a good estimate for the timing.
So C is directly related to that. We can't go out to bid until we have the specs. So let's
Well,
carry both those.
we've already went out to bid.
No, not on the meters.
Not on the meters.
Oh, we're talking
Come
on meter.
Two different portions here. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. No worries. No worries. So we'll carry.
There's so many
both those
projects
over.
sometimes.
Yeah, you got it.
Keep
We'll carry
everything
that over,
straight.
Tiffany. Thank you. D, discussion vote on claims and payouts.
Yeah, I have some issues on this. So we have a
Okay.
claim. We're not able, I mean, we have not a claim. We have an invoice. We're not able to pay it. Carlos, we already have a funding agreement in place. And for some reason, none of those documents have been filled out or addressed, because we need to start being able to put in claims for this. We already have a fairly old one that we paid out of pocket, but we need to be reimbursed for it because we already had a funding agreement. So we need you to move forward on filling out whatever you need to fill out to get those forms going so that we're able to put in a claim.
That'll be me actually, not Carlos.
Okay, well, then same for you,
And
Oscar.
I do have a question regarding I did see an invoice. I know there was the older invoice you're talking about was, I believe, Young and Woolridge.
Correct, and we already paid
Okay.
it on this month's payments, but we have no way to claim it.
Okay, so
And there's no
I
reason.
think last meeting we had the question if we were able to
Yes,
process the claim.
funding. Yes, we looked. The funding agreement is in place. You need to do whatever you need to do to fill out those forms so that we can move forward. The funding
Okay.
agreement was agreed, it was agreed by Lawrence that it's in place and we're missing your part of the work.
Okay. I do also have a question. I recall seeing on one of the invoices, I think this was from D, and I apologize, I don't have the invoices in front of me. But there was some charges for plans and specs for the emergency well replacement. Was that supposed to be covered under IRWIMP funding, or was that funding exhausted and now
No.
going to be?
We had gotten an extension on the IRWIMP of like 20,000, so it shouldn't have been exhausted, and that should be under that. But we haven't seen that. I mean, it wasn't written specifically correctly in the invoice. So D, as far as I know, when you got that, we didn't exhaust that IRWIMP money, and in fact, we got an extension of IRWIMP money.
I don't know exactly how much that extension is. And Oscar, if, you need to call me if there's some confusion about this stuff, because we've got a number of different invoices on different things. And I don't have an answer for you right now, but.
Yeah, no, it was
should-
just, it.
Well, Oscar, I
Yeah,
think,
go ahead.
I think what you need to do is get the invoices that you have questions on, and you need to give D a call. So if he needs to correct anything on the invoices, because if it's plans and specs for well 7, then it should have been under the IRWIMP funding, and it should be going to Tulare, isn't that who's?
Yes, and it was an additional 20,000 or 22,000. It was additional money. So I'm positive that we did not, you did not spend all of that yet.
Yeah, and I think we requested 20, and I think we got 2 or 3, but it wasn't as much as we requested. But we just need to look at the invoice.
I know we got 20.
We requested it, but as I recall, it was quite a bit less than that.
We should look into that, because I recall us saying that, I recall you saying that you got it and it was that amount. So that's definitely something we need to look at. And if that's not the case, then it needs to be part of a claim, because with the funding agreement is in place. So if we did not get the WIP, then it needs to be part of the same claim as the Young Woldridge, because it's already been, spent. It's already been invoiced, I should say. So you didn't send an invoice to Tulare, correct, Dee? Or you're gonna check?
There's some confusion about that. We had some confusion at the last, I think there was an invoice that we had sent to self-help that was not covered. It was regional. It was to be billed to the regional study. And that was one of Ken Schmidt's. I believe it was about $8,700. We got that one straightened out, and it should be on a claim 11, I think, Carlos, if I'm not wrong with that or not mistaken about that. So I think, I thought that we had everything cleared up with respect to well 7 and the IRWIMP money.
Okay, well, I think we've exhausted what we can do here tonight. I think Oscar needs to get those invoices and give you a call, D.
And we need a copy of those as well, Oscar, going to Tiffany and to BCC to Director Nyman and myself.
Yeah, definitely. I was just looking over them. Like I said, Tiffany had forwarded them to me, but I'll include you guys in those emails.
Okay.
Okay, number 13, discussion vote on pipeline replacement project. A, discussion update on project funding.
So we have that letter as part of our packet. We should probably talk about the.
I had a question, because this is coming. Oh, so Okay. I guess. All right, I guess I'm misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding what?
Well, I mean, he put in here about the DWR commitment
Without,
for project.
Right, so in that letter, it specifically says that the State Water Resources Board is going to do that instead of DWR. So it I'm looking for the letter itself. So State Water Resources Control Board basically is saying that there was an amount put out, but that they want to cover that, and that's the 9,851,450. So my only issue is that they're saying that we need to have an actual I know that they said it's going to be the third part of the project, but then they're talking about us filling out paperwork, and I thought that they were not going to make us fill out that they were gonna come up with a funding agreement, but I didn't know we needed to do a whole separate application, and here it looks like we do. So I have some questions for.
Geez.
And that's what I was gonna bring up today, Lisa, that they actually want us to fill out those packages, which Lauren said that we wouldn't have to,
Right.
and now they are. So that's something that we can address with them.
That's a
on-
huge problem, because the whole point is that we're going to lose the DWR money if we don't, within a year, and if they're going to drag their feet because we have to fill out stuff, and it does. I mean, we really just need to talk to Lawrence and see if it's just, if filling that out is just a what do you call it, like a just to make everything
Formality, Lisa?
formality. That's the word I'm looking for. If it's just a formality, or if it's really a whole new funding application. Because if it's a funding application, it takes forever, and we may not get that. So that could be a huge problem, even though they're saying that they're going to administer it. So I have some additional questions for Lawrence, because I'm really concerned if it's more than a formality and we have to wait for them to approve it.
is that stuff you can work out in the state meeting next week? Director Schoenberg?
Yeah. I mean, because it seems like it's fine per this letter, but I mean, it does and then it doesn't, because it talks about DWR, doing the money between August 11th, 2021 and August 30th, 2023. But then, yeah, if we're having to put in a whole project application, I'm concerned. So, and they're saying that wouldn't happen until after we did all the potholing and everything. So, yeah, I definitely have some concerns, and I don't know if this letter addresses them.
Okay,
Yeah, because it says DFA will give Fraser Park the money once the completed package is submitted. So that's one of the issues that I was thinking about too, because they said we didn't have to do that at the beginning. Now they're putting it in this letter.
And what's happening with the TA work plan with you guys, Carlos?
I got D's information. I just need to get PMP's information so I can complete the work plan.
Whose information?
Provost and Pritchard for the Lake of the Wood project.
For Lake of the Woods, okay.
Yeah. So once I get her information,
because the problem is even if they're going to require us to put in a package, is that we have to get the potholing and stuff going, and we can't start it. I mean, I guess now that we've got the letter, but we have to have your executed, you have to have your executed agreement before we start potholing and stuff, so we can.
and once
so
I
you guys
get
can pay those bills.
once I get that information from PMP, it'll take me no more than a week to get that work plan submitted to the state.
Pam, do we know where we stand on that? Pam?
Hey guys, sorry, I had to step away. My dog's freaking out. Could you repeat that, please? I was trying to get him out of my room.
Carlos is looking for information from what is it?
Provost and Pritchard, yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it affects your TA because his TA is money, a pot of money that is just assigned to.
But he's
No,
trying
The
to
question is
execute.
that, and Pam wouldn't know the answer because I spoke directly with PMP. So Jeannie
Okay.
said she would get that information to me as soon as possible. She said she'd get it to me pretty quick. This was like early in the week, so hopefully she'll have it to me by next week, sometime by Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm just saying we need to get this, you guys need to get your ducks in a row and have that executed so we can
Yeah,
start
but
getting a deed.
even by me submitting this work plan, I still don't expect it to be approved until like the first of the year. So
Okay.
it's gonna take DFA a good month, even though they're putting it on a high priority. Hopefully it gets reviewed faster, but I don't expect them to approve it until like the first of
Well,
the year.
that means we can't start any kind of potholing until probably January of next year.
Yeah, pretty much. Although you guys, I mean, if you want to do it out of your pocket, you can get reimbursed.
No,
already.
that's not what, that's why we've been pushing for this stuff because it's covered under, it was originally we're going to be covered under the DWR, and now we've switched over to the State Water Control Board. And so we need to have it in place because we don't have the money to continue to put out. And then if they're expecting, we'll need to discuss this more. That needs to be on the agenda for when we talk to Lawrence to find out, about reimbursement and all this, because once again, everybody wants us to do something, but if we don't get something in place, then we get left holding the bag, and that's not appropriate.
So basically, we've intermingled A, B, and C in this discussion. Apparently, everything needs to be carried over. D, I would like to take up. D, discussion vote on potholing and mapping.
Do you have any comments, Dee, that you want to?
No, I don't. We have, we've got our budget submitted and just awaiting the funding. So that's kind of where we are. That's one thing. That budget includes contractor work, backhoe work and hiring, Badger or some similar contractor to do some of the potholing. And then, the backhoes that will be supplied by contractors under a contract. My assumption was that would be under a direct contract with the district for those particular contractors and not with a contract with us because our insurance doesn't cover contractor type work. Our insurance covers professional liability. So, we'll have to work out that detail.
Well, we have to work out the billing, like how the billing would be done, because Carlos, Self-Help Enterprises is going to be paying for this under their technical assistance.
Right.
Yeah, so if they can't contract directly under UD, that they would have to probably contract with us.
That
for
would
that.
we can work that out, Carlos.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 14, discussion vote update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency allocation to special districts grant. A, discussion vote update on the purchase of the generators.
Okay, and before
Did
you
have-
guys start, that's pretty much it for me, right?
Yeah, and we need to note the time.
I have 7:11.
Yes, I think that's, is that correct, Tiffany? I think that's the only thing we need.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Thank you, Oscar and Carlos.
All right,
You guys,
Okay, thank you.
you guys have
I'll
a good
connect
night.
with you, D, on regards to those invoices.
Sounds good, Oscar. Yeah, just shoot me an email or give me a call.
So we have a meeting next week, gentlemen.
Yeah, we have two meetings, the state update meeting and the,
They've
you-
already dropped.
That
They're in a
was
hurry
quick.
out of here.
okay, so
That's me at 9 o'clock.
can we get back on topic? Discussion vote update on purchase of generators.
Where's Dave at? Oh.
So is that back to
Is that
me?
a weak attempt at a joke or what?
Yeah, that's a very weak attempt.
We wish we had Dave.
The,
Okay.
where we are, I've been discussions with Curtis on this. The PTS Rentals submitted their package of the generators for approval. Curtis went through those and sent it back to them with some comments. And once they send those back and we approve them, which should be fairly quickly, we're anticipating next week. Then we'll approve those and tell them to go ahead and order them. We anticipate that they will want a down payment of up to 30%. We'll press for maybe 10%, but I think that we should be prepared to, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, to tender a check for up to 30% of the value of those generators.
And when would we take delivery?
Well, we don't know that yet, but we're targeting whatever the target date was.
2022, I certainly hope it's February, because if it's March, we're gonna be paying out of pocket,
No,
potentially.
we've specified the date that was specified on the grant. And so far, there's been no kickback on that, so.
Okay, so because, yeah, we were waiting, we already agreed to make that payment. We're waiting for you to give us the amount.
And we will get that to you.
Okay, so I think we need to hopefully get it by next Tuesday or Wednesday, because we got to have Deborah cut those checks.
Right, we need the check cut for Thursday and, something else, we need to fill out a report for this project, and that needs to be done by the end of the month. But we really only have, we don't have another meeting, so we need all those details as quickly as possible.
We're pressing ahead for them, and hopefully we will have them by the next meeting on Thursday.
Okay. B, discussion vote on engineering and design.
We really don't have any design that we're doing right now. We're just trying to get these guys on board and do the administrative part of it, and moving ahead that way, pressing them to get the stuff ordered.
We talked about the last meeting too, that we approved about $2,000 for design once we have the generators in for the pads.
Correct.
And you were gonna get with Director Garcia. Is that gonna be, that didn't happen yet, right? To try to
Negative.
It's Johnny Whittingham too, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
So we will continue that, carry that over. C, vote on project progress report for Cal OES.
So that's what I was just saying we need to have, but unless we, we need to be able to say something on it, like we purchased we put a down payment on the generator. So, and it needs to
So
be,
next week, after we cut the check, we can send that off, huh?
yeah, we need to get with you, Dee, the ad hoc and Tiffany and you so that we can write that report. It's due by the end of November.
Yep, Tiffany and I have been kind of playing phone tag back and forth here, trying to get a date set up, and we thought we had yesterday set up, but
Right.
that fell through on my behalf. I had a vehicle issue. So anyway,
Isn't the ad hoc supposed to be a part of that too?
I'm not sure. It was just
Voted on.
fill out the application or the form, and Tiffany wanted some input on that. Tiffany, you on the call? Maybe.
Yeah, I was having, Johnny and I were kind of working through it, discussing that, so maybe on Monday, we can just clarify that with Johnny and clarify what will happen between Johnny and the ad hoc, but Dee, I think if you're comfortable holding off until we have that information, if you think you're gonna be able to get that information on the down payment and all that, then we can hold off until then so that we can include that into the report.
Well, it definitely needs to be included in the report.
Yeah, so we can wait on that. I guess there'll be no rush.
Where
Well, there's a rush because we're almost at the end of November, but
Yeah,
Which
but
is-
I mean, like the end of next week, or by the next meeting, if Dee thinks he'll have some information, then we can talk about it on the 18th.
okay.
Righty. Thank you all. Number 15, discussion vote on community water system COVID relief program. Is that you, Tiffany?
Yep, that's me again. So I submitted the application last Thursday, so a week ago. And it gets submitted to the same DFA with State Water Resources Control Board. And within an hour of me submitting the application, they called me on the phone saying that they were reviewing it. They were very quick. Clarified some information on the application, and then I believe he approved it. So we should, I thought it might be in this week, but I'm thinking by next week we should have the check-in, fingers crossed.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Yay.
Okay, number 16, discussion vote on well number 5 blending station and purchasing a nitrate analyzer. Would that sound like it probably would have been Johnny? Does anyone else have any input on that?
that's what we understand too. Johnny's taking care of the purchase. We sent some specifications over, and yeah, I was counting on Johnny to address that. I don't have any information on it.
Okay, then let's go ahead and carry that one over as well.
Where's Johnny?
Now would be the time we take a break. Anyone want to take a break?
And a memorial.
He had a death in the family. He's with his family.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay,
I
number
thought-
17. Discussion vote on exempt and non-exempt employee law.
So I had some questions, but we did not line up Jerry Pearson being on the line.
Correct?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this regards 18 as well. I would like to, before we sign the general manager's contract, I have a question for, I thought that was what we were going to do. but it does not appear that that happened. So I do have a couple of questions because it does not spell out exempt employee in the contract on number 18, even though I know we're on 17. And then,
Mhm.
you know, there were some questions in regard to comp time being something that doesn't exist, period, for exempt employees. It's not that it doesn't get paid for, it's that it doesn't exist. That was my understanding, but that was not our general manager's understanding. So we were supposed to clarify that.
With
And
Jerry
also,
Pearson, right?
right, and also the non-exempt employee, we were going to clarify turnaround time for our employees and some other questions that we had. So I mean, I
Let's
think it
carry
needs
both
to
of
go.
these over.
Yeah, because it's next week anyway, but I do think that we need to have Jerry Pearson look at the contract because some changes have happened since the last just to make sure that we're keeping up with the law on that contract.
Good deal. Got
So
that, Tiffany?
that's 18, even though I know you weren't on 18, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes, that's fine. So number 19,
So,
discussion vote.
so what does
Director
needs to be
Nyman, go
done?
ahead.
Does Tiffany need to have Johnny send the contract to Jerry Pearson? And are we
I
gonna
think-
set, is
I
it
think
gonna,
we need to send the contract to Jerry Pearson. It's not, he shouldn't be sending his own contract or discussing his own contract. I mean, it's fine. We voted on the contract. It's good. I think that we can do it. We can, what's that called? We can do it retroactively from the 28th, where whenever the date was that we approved it. So I don't think that's an issue. I just think that we need to make sure that all the wording in there is okay. And we need to, I think, as a board, we need to be very clear on the question that came up on the meeting, on the last meeting.
is that gonna be,
Okay,
is
so
that gonna
who
be a
is gonna call
closed?
Jerry Pearson to get him on the line?
It's not a closed session because it's not, we're not evaluating the employee. We've already done that and we already approved his contract. So it's just, there are a couple questions, one that has to do with the general manager and comp time. The second question is turnaround time for non-exempt employees.
So my question, I guess, is are you going to call the lawyer, Director Schoenberg?
I guess I can and try to see if he's available, or Tiffany can and see if he's available for the next meeting for a short. I mean, I don't think we want to take a bunch of his time because we're already paying quite a bit, but I think probably, I mean, we could have Tiffany send the contract to him as is, but then he should contact one of us on the board if he has questions. It's fine for him to contact me.
Okay. Will you make that happen, Tiffany? Send it over with a response to,
Yeah, I'll try to initiate the communication, but I generally don't have contact with Jerry Pearson.
Right. So
okay.
So if you can just initiate and then have him discuss with me. It's just that it'd be nice if he could come on with the board and not, obviously I can't do it on my own and we don't have an ad hoc for that. And we don't really need an ad hoc for that, I don't think. So I think we just need about half an hour to just ask a couple of employee questions.
All right then.
And if he's already looked at the contract, he can let us know if there's any issues.
Perfect. Number
So
19.
we should probably
Director Gibson,
formulate
would
those.
you like the
We
floor?
should probably, sorry,
Yeah,
we should have the questions ready for Jerry so that it can be quick, right?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. So if you have specific questions, it would be good for me to be able to forward those to him ahead of time. Yes.
I mean, a big deal is comp time for an exempt employee, right?
You wrote down some questions. You wrote down some stuff during our closed session, and it would be those questions that were written down in closed
For the
session.
general manager, gee, okay.
And then it would be the other stuff we talked about in open session, which has to do with, which basically has to do with turn time and some other, it's all handbook stuff, which we need to finish. So, but it's
Mhm.
just a question about that in the handbook, like what are the requirements right now for that?
Okay, thank
Okay.
How the
you.
laws change.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Number 19, discussion vote on alternate signers for the board secretary and president.
I'll talk about this if it's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, just through crazy life circumstances, I haven't been able to get signatures on our resolutions, a couple resolutions in quite a few minutes now. And I think probably it'd be a good idea moving forward, just in general, that we get somebody who can back up sign either for the president, if anything, extenuating circumstances happen, but definitely for the secretary. Sounds like she may be back, but just in case anything happens in the future as well.
Well, I think right off the bat, I think the vice president should be the signer in the case of the
Correct.
president not being available.
I
That pretty
agree.
much goes without saying.
I was gonna say that, and I think it might be smart to have the member at large who's actually the JPIA member, maybe sign
Mhm.
secretary, so that's, since that position has less responsibility.
Okay.
And actually that person is really good about reading minutes, so I think that would be a good alternate signer.
Okay.
Okay, unless we have to put that into motion.
So I'd like to move that we designate alternate signers for the board secretary, and for the president. The alternate signer for the board secretary would be the JPI rep, and also who's also the member at large. And well, actually not, because it's actually, we don't have a member at large because that person's a JPI rep, right? So the JPI
Yes.
rep, and then the vice president as the alternate signer for president.
Do I have a second for this motion?
Can either one of us second it since we're part of it?
Well, we only got so many people.
I'll second it.
Director Nyman has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 20, discussion vote on holiday activities and purchases.
Where's
What's the
Johnny,
spirit
huh?
this year?
So I guess I could sort of generally field it, and then it can go back to you. Johnny usually does the turkey or ham for the employees. And then Christmas, we're thinking barbecue, and then I'll let you take it from there.
So, yeah, I think that's a good idea rather than the going out to eat, which is not a really great idea just with COVID and everything, for Christmas. And I do think that, I mean, I know that it's going to be more expensive for the turkey and ham, because of the, price of meats going up, but so I don't know what our cap was last time, but I know it's more expensive.
Yeah, we should probably double it.
I don't know if we have to double it, but it's definitely, because it was.
Well,
pretty-
that's what I mean, to get a free turkey at a grocery store last year, you buy $25 worth of groceries. This year, you got to buy $100 worth of groceries. You still get a free turkey. That's how I'm gauging the availability of turkeys.
Thank you for that.
And ham, yeah.
Yeah, and this is not the holiday when hams are on sale. So since they are more expensive, except what I've noticed is pork is not as expensive as beef, duh, or turkey or chicken.
Right.
But I'm just thinking, yeah, we ought to double it. And about the barbecue for Christmas, didn't Johnny say last year that the employees really preferred like a gift card?
Dare I speak? I think we did the gift card last year because it was, pretty deep in the height of COVID. So we weren't thinking any get-togethers. But
Okay.
I think the barbecue is still the preference.
Okay, good. Good to know.
Good.
And then the turkeys, I mean, we never really had a price cap. Johnny just bought either a turkey or a ham for each employee, and he goes out and finds the best deal.
Yeah, I think
I like that.
is what we should do. I mean, it's not like he's gonna go and find the most expensive turkey in, so.
Turkey.
He's not
So,
buying prime
agree.
rib, right?
No. I'll entertain a motion on purchasing a turkey or ham for Thanksgiving and barbecue for Christmas. I think that seems to be the consensus.
Okay, we had a cap before on the Christmas barbecue. What, I don't remember what we did last year.
Last year we got gift cards.
Oh, what did we do the year before?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Barbecue. I think it was carne asada.
Yeah, we did a barbecue, but I don't remember what the cap was. What we did was we did a barbecue and then we had people bring items. I think. Yeah, but I think if it's potluck, it should be like a already made item or whatever. So, we could just have the board. The board brought already made items, and I mean some of the employees did as well, and then we purchased the meat.
Purchase.
As long as we're not all like, I think actually it could even be already made. I mean, it could be stuff that people make, but I just think we shouldn't. We should have one person hand it out instead of have everybody touch all the utensils. So have somebody cook and they can hand out the meat and someone else can hand out the meat and then have someone hand out the whatever the sides are.
And you know what? And so then I think that will,
Why don't we
should choose what we're doing for meat. Like carne asada is great, but you know what? Everybody fixes their taco different, so it's everybody's hands in it. You know what I mean? Like maybe we should barbecue something that's a little less invasive, a little bit more buffet friendly.
Right.
Like maybe like a tri-tip or something. I don't know. I mean, tri-tips are expensive, but
I don't do beef.
you don't do beef. Okay.
Last time we did beef and chicken is what we did. We barbecued both. So, and I think we could still do that and maybe just don't do tacos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just very cautious about.
And have one board member, pass out the meat and a board member pass out the sides or something so that the employees don't have to do that. But, just have somebody commit to passing stuff out instead of everybody touching everything.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a motion on the floor.
I don't think there was a motion yet.
No, Brahma mentioned the cap on the price at the barbecue. Nobody could remember what it was though, right? And then we got off on discussing, sorry, it was probably my fault. I will make a motion that we have our general manager go out and buy turkey or ham for the employees for Thanksgiving, and that we have our barbecue for Christmas, and we could discuss with the general manager what we will be serving and have the
And the best way to do it.
delegated people serving.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Director Nyman has seconded the motion. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried.
Dee, if you'd like to leave, you're welcome to go home.
Take the rest of the day off, would you, Dee?
Excuse me?
Take the rest of the day off.
Okay, will do. I was going to vote for carne asada, but you know.
We'll let you know. Absolutely.
All right.
God
sounds
bless
good.
you.
Have a good evening.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
thank you, Dee. And just get us that amount that we need to do that check for the generators as soon as possible.
Will do.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Number 21, review and approve meeting minutes for September 23rd, 2021, regular planning meeting.
Okay, I'd like to move that we, hold on a second. Let me find the agenda where it says that. Sorry. Okay, I'd like to move that we approve the minutes for the September 23rd, 2021 regular planning meeting with any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previous to this meeting, as well as any additional amendments for typos or other errors that we may not have caught or that may need to be corrected.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Director Gibson has seconded the motion. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried.
Then I'm gonna make a motion for the next one, but I just wanted to say that Tiffany was really great. I gave her a number of changes today, and she graciously listened to all of them on all of the meeting minutes. So
Thank you,
okay,
Tiffany.
so I would like to, yeah, thank you, Tiffany. So I'd like to move that we approve the 10/14/2021 regular meeting minutes with any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previous to this meeting, as well as any additional amendments for typos or other errors that we may not have caught or that may need to be corrected.
I'll second
Right.
it.
Thank you, Director Nyman. Director Nyman has seconded that motion. Roll call directors. Excuse me. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. 10:28 minutes.
Oh, and I just want to say before I move for this one, that most of the stuff that I brought to Tiffany was stuff that we said.
Wait, what? Oh, this was October 14th?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was October 28th. I can't second that. I have to abstain. Because I was absent.
Yeah.
Holy
So
moly.
did we rescind the whole motion?
Yes,
Yes.
you need to redo it. Sorry.
Same motion, new seconder.
Yes. I just need a new seconder. The rest of it's the same.
I'll second it.
Director Gibson has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Abstain.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. You have 3-0, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Motion carried.
Thank you. And then right before I move to do the last meeting minutes, I just wanted to add, on top of her graciousness, that we make some very interesting motions sometimes, and that we need to,
Right?
yeah, we need to be very discerning on how we say those, so that we don't have to make so many changes. So, okay, so I'd like to move that we approve the 10/28/2021 regular planning meeting minutes with any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previous to this meeting, as well as any additional amendments for typos or other errors that we may not have caught or that may need to be corrected.
I'll
Do I have
second
a
that
second?
one. I'll second that one.
Okay, Director Nyman has seconded that. Roll call directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Number 22, discussion and vote on future agenda items. You feel like you got everything, Tiffany?
Yes, I do. And then I'll have to put the resolution again. If you want to do remote meetings for December, then I'll have that resolution at the next meeting.
Yes,
Thank you so
please.
much.
I know that Director Nyman had expressed that he wants to meet in person, but we have a surge of COVID up in this area again, so I am not in favor of that.
What about starting with the new year?
I don't want to make any plans yet, because all these kind of outlying areas like Fresno and here, and they're all surging.
Okay, well, we'll take it up at
It is surging right now
in
again.
December.
Yeah.
Okay, well, number 23, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion. We adjourn.
Director Gibbs has made a motion. Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Director Nyman. Director Nyman has seconded the motion. Roll call of directors. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly is absent. Director Nyman.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is an aye. 4-0, 1 absent. Motion carried. Thank you, ladies and
Nice
gentlemen. You did a
work,
lot of
people.
work today.
Yay.
All right, I'll be
A lot of
around
work.
with the checks.
Thank you,
Hey,
sir.
Jerry Garcia,
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to thank you.